Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you very much for being here today. Get my software all set up. Hey, today we are continuing our coverage in the death of Madeline Soto. Some documents have come out. They've been released by the state's attorney's office down there in Osceola County, Florida. Documents that are disturbing, to say the very least. I've been thinking about them ever since I received them, not quite knowing what I wanted to do, but today we are going to go ahead and do it. Just a maybe a warning, though. Okay, the stuff that we are going to talk about today is the subject matter is grown up. This is definitely adult. So this is not for kids for sure. And if I don't like to give trigger warnings and stuff like that, but this is a subject matter that's dark. So we're talking about the abuse of Madeline Soto, this little girl who, for the life of me, after reading this stuff, I don't even know how she was able to put a smile on her face. I just don't even know. Hey, as we go through this today, as we've been doing pretty recently, if there is a comment that you want me to see, go ahead and just put GF : in there so that I can use my filter to see through the stuff that you guys, this filter between the stuff where you're talking to one another and you're definitely talking to me, okay? And I'm belaboring this a little bit, probably because I really don't want to get into it, but I also want to bring up that if you go over to my website, there is now a Madeline Soto page right here. And if you click on it, I share on there for my patrons all the documents that have been released. Today we are going to go through this supplemental report by Investigator Morris. I think this is the most important one for us to go through. And but if you're a patron of mine, you can see them all. Also, guys, if you want to listen to a recording of Stephan Stearns, this is our suspect in this, as we all know. If you want to listen to a 43-minute recording of Stephan Stearns being interviewed by police, that is available to everyone right there on the website. Please feel free to do that. I might at some point do a video where we listen to that all together. In fact, I have it all prepared, but I really want to go through this supplemental report with you guys. So, okay. Let's go ahead and get into it. One of the things I want to point out, though, is that the redactions, these ones that are in black, these are redactions that come from the state's attorney's office. Obviously, we can infer a lot of things here, but when it gets down into the really graphic stuff, this stuff that is pixelated here, those are redactions that I did. Because I just don't want to read them, and we all can understand what it is. Okay, so this is a case supplemental report. It is from March 15th, and it is from an investigator named Investigator Morris. It's only a 5-page document. Okay. On February 26th, at approximately 8 p.m., Madeline Soto was reported missing to the Orange County Sheriff's Office by her mother, who we know as Jennifer Soto. Jennifer completed a sworn written statement to Orange County deputies to the following. Jennifer stated that on February 26th at approximately 8 a.m., she saw Madeline getting ready for school. Jennifer stated Stephan Stearns took her to school and dropped her off close to school. Okay, now let's pause here for a second, because I saw some comments before we even started here, trying to give Jennifer the benefit of the doubt. I personally believe that at 8 a.m., Madeline was already dead. So I am no longer giving Jennifer Soto the benefit of the doubt. Of course, this is all just my opinion. This is all just, according to Gavin Fish, and I don't have access to everything, but I personally think that there are charges coming, and I hope that there are charges coming. This was the comment that I saw. I was giving Jen the benefit of the doubt until I read this. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me put it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Jennifer stated Stephan Stearns took her to school, dropped her off close to the school. Jennifer said Stephan dropped Madeline off on Town Loop Boulevard between Town Center Boulevard and Hunters Park Lane. Jennifer said Stephan dropped her off between 8:30 a.m. and 8:45 a.m. Jennifer stated Madeline never made it to school. Jennifer went to the school around 4 p.m. to pick Madeline up, and she never came out of school. Jennifer stated she searched around the area and then went to her mother's office but could not locate her. By the way, in the audio recording that I have posted to my website that you can all listen to, he talks about the reason, his excuse for not driving up to the school. And his reason was that Madeline was very self-conscious about the car that she got out of. And she was embarrassed by, his language, his hoopty car. We know that he drove a Lincoln. I personally think that the reason he didn't go up there is he didn't want to be spotted on camera. But that was the excuse that he gave. Okay, Deputy Joseph from the Orange County Sheriff's Office contacted the on-call domestic crimes detective who investigate missing persons, who advised to send the report to the missing persons squad. On February 27th, 2024, Detective Hunt from the Orange County Sheriff's Office received information that Madeline did not report to school on the previous day. Therefore, Detective Hunt began his investigation. Detective Hunt interviewed Jennifer and Stephan during the initial phase of this investigation. During these interviews, Detective Hunt noticed some inconsistencies. And, of course, I think by now we have all noticed a ton of inconsistencies in this case, right? But especially if you listen to that audio. Detective Tagler with the Orange County Sheriff's Office was also asked to assist in interviewing Stephan during this case. Detective Tagler would eventually become the lead investigator for the Orange County Sheriff's Office case. Detective Tagler contacted Stephan, and then there was either an address or a number. Detective Tagler was provided locations where Stephan's vehicle, let me put on my do not disturb here real quick. There we go. Detective Tagler was provided locations where Stephan's vehicle, a 2010 silver Lincoln MKZ, had been seen during the time Stephan stated he dropped off Madeline at school. Detective Tagler confronted Stephan about his locations during the interview, but Stephan would provide answers that did not match up to his vehicle location. Stephan provided consent to search his phone because he is an idiot, which I'm grateful for. We're all grateful for, I think. However, he stated he had accidentally performed a factory reset on his phone the previous day. Detective Tagler, now this is the interview that you guys can listen to on my website. Detective Tagler asked Stephan a second time if he consented to the download of his phone, and he agreed and provided his passcode, and that is on the tape. Detective Tagler then proceeded to the security gate at Venetian Bay to review video. Upon reviewing the security video, Detective Tagler observed Stephan's vehicle exiting the complex with a female wearing a green sweater in the front passenger seat. The female was slumped over to her left, which is an abnormal way for a person to be seated in a vehicle. At that point, Detective Tagler decided to secure the residence there at the apartment complex for a search warrant. The Kissimmee Police Department was notified and asked to assist with the case. Detective Smallwood responded to assist Orange County in the search. This decision was made to have patrol officers from the Kissimmee, whatever you say that, police department secure the location for the search warrant to be executed on the 28th. On February 28th, Detective Mark Morris, was called and asked to respond to the apartment complex to assist Orange County in executing the search warrant for their missing person case. Upon my arrival, I contacted Orange County deputies who were waiting for their forensics unit to arrive to execute the search warrant. While Orange County was serving a search warrant on the premises, a subsequent search warrant was executed on Stephan's cellular phone. Now, he had given Detective Tagler permission to even go into his Google account while they were talking. I've listened to that whole thing. And, but, you know, probably to dot I's, cross T's, they got a search warrant. Upon reviewing the contents of Stephan's phone, it was discovered several images were saved in a Google Drive. A separate search warrant was served to Google, and upon the receipt of the contents of Stephan's Google Drive, several images and videos were located which depicted an apparent child, and it describes the circumstance of the photo, which is graphic, and I don't want to say it, as the focal point of the pictures and videos. There were also pictures and videos depicting an apparent child's, and then it describes what was going on in that photo. The child was later identified as Madeline Soto, and it gives her date of birth, which I believe was February 22nd. What would that be? 2011? Something like that. I can't. February 22nd was her birthday. During this time, it was also discovered Stephan did not drop Madeline off at school as he previously stated. Based upon the contents of Stephan's Google Drive and the suspicious nature of Madeline going missing, it was decided that I become the lead investigator from the Kissimmee Police Department. Corporal Ilgen and I responded to the Orange County Sheriff's Office, where deputies had already arranged for Jennifer and Stephan to be transported there for a press conference. I was shown the contents of Stephan's Google Drive, where one folder that appeared dedicated to Madeline contained over 1,700 files. Guys, there are no silver linings in this. There are no silver linings in this story. The only thing that I can point to that I am grateful for is the stupidity of Stephan Stearns. But the sad thing about this, and I've been thinking about this for a long time. You guys know, Kimberly and I we've raised 3 children. We're raising 2 more. We have 5 children. We understand the ages of little boys and little girls and what they're going through at that time in their life. In fact, I was just reminiscing about our oldest daughter when she turned 13, because she's the one that just got married. She was absolutely intolerable and the worst, because she was going through so much, right? That is a big changing time in a young person's life. And little Madeline, she was at that age. How she could even put a smile on her face, I don't even know. knowing what's coming next in this report, I don't know how she was able to put a smile on her face, and it breaks my heart. But the other thing I was going to say is the sad thing about this for me is that Stephan Stearns was caught because he's stupid. But how many other little girls and little boys are going through similar abuse at the hands of people they should be able to trust, and we never know about it? And I think that number is probably big. So sad. Okay. He kept a folder dedicated to Madeline on his Google Drive. How dumb is that? Okay, so I had over 1,700 files. A majority of these photographs and videos showed Madeline in different positions. Based upon these images, Orange County detectives began to author an arrest warrant for Stephan. Of course, he was already there for a press conference. Due to the fact that most of these images appeared to have occurred at the residence of their apartment location, probable cause was provided to Detective Moore of the Kissimmee Police Department. Detective Moore wrote the arrest warrant charging Stephan with battery and possession of, let's just say, CP. Okay? While the arrest warrant was being written and obtained by Detective Moore at approximately, 4:45 p.m., I contacted Jennifer in a conference room at the sheriff's office. This is where I get back to that comment that you had, right? The whole, I was giving Jen the benefit of the doubt until I read this. This is nuts and sad. Jennifer was asked questions about Madeline being missing and the dynamics of the household. Jennifer stated she and Stephan had been dating on and off for approximately 7 years. Stephan had moved out of the home in the later part of 2023, November, December. He states on that interview that he was going to be with his aging parents. Jennifer stated while they were together, they would either all sleep in the same bed or Madeline would sleep with her when Stephan was not there. When asked if it was normal that Stephan and Madeline sleep together without her being there, she said yes. Jennifer stated if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would ask them to sleep in a different bedroom. Do you know what that means, guys? Do you know what that means? I don't think that I'm reading between the lines on this at all. She's feeling anxious. I want you two to go into that bedroom. She is prostituting out her daughter, for lack of a better term, to her boyfriend. That is what is happening there. My opinion only, but that is what is happening there, and I believe that there are going to be charges. I hope there are going to be charges. Let's read that one more time. Jennifer stated if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would ask them to sleep in a different bedroom. Orange County detectives had previously shown Jennifer photographs of Stephan's private parts for identification purposes. This, by the way, well, we'll get into it. Jennifer did not want to believe Madeline and Stephan were engaged in this activity. Jennifer asked to see the image of Stephan and Madeline. I pulled out a printed picture from Stephan's Google Drive that showed Jennifer with Stephan's, and then it describes the position of the two individuals, Stephan and Madeline. Jennifer said she didn't recognize anything in the picture, as if she was in denial. Do you know why? Because she was caught and she was panicking. She knew what had been happening. She knew that they'd found out what had been happening. She was concerned for herself and was panicking. She was not in denial. However, she became visibly upset. I asked Jennifer additional questions unrelated to this particular case. I excused myself and I told her I was going to speak with Stephan. I contacted Stephan in an interview room at the sheriff's office. Stephan was asleep when I entered the room, along with Corporal Ilgen. After introducing ourselves, I explained the reason why we were there speaking to him. I read Stephan his Miranda warnings, which I think that means to say he waived and agreed to speak with us. Stephan stated he had known Jennifer for several years and they dated for most of that time. I asked Stephan what the sleeping arrangements were within the home. Stephan stated Jennifer typically sleeps with Madeline, or maybe the other way around. Madeline, I think it's probably Madeline, typically sleeps with Jennifer in Jennifer's bed. I think those little tips coming up there, that's going to be Madeline. Stephan stated Jennifer or Madeline wanted them to all sleep in the same bed when he returned from being away for several months. Stephan stated either Jennifer or Madeline always needed human contact when going to sleep. Stephan referred to it as snuggling. As the interview went on, I asked Stephan, and I think this is probably if Madeline has ever been sexually active with anyone in the past. That's definitely Madeline. Stephan stated there was an incident when she was much younger. We're going to find out about that incident when she was much younger. Stephan said Madeline did something with a phone or camera, but she wasn't scolded for it. Stephan said she was very young when this happened, and yes, there was definitely a phone or a camera. I asked Stephan if he provided Orange County deputies consent to search through his phone, and he stated yes. Do you know why he felt okay about that? Because he thought that he had deleted everything. I asked Stephan if he had a Google account, and he stated he did. When I asked Stephan if he saved pictures to that account, he said sometimes. Stephan stated that he did have pictures of him and, I think that says Madeline, saved to that account. When I asked Stephan about all the pictures he had saved, Stephan then asked if he should be talking to a lawyer. Finally, a light of intelligence somewhere in this guy. Shortly after that, Stephan requested an attorney. Stephan was arrested for battery, SA battery basically, when the victim was under 12 years old and possession of this, which you guys can see, right? A search warrant was obtained to collect DNA from Stephan. This warrant was executed by Orange County detectives and the forensics unit. I was able to search through Stephan's Google account and I observed the following images. Now, you will see again that I have redacted out all of the stuff that is describing what is in the images. Of course, if you're a patron of mine, you can go and you can see this stuff, but I just don't think that we need to. Okay? So the first one is a video file depicting a prepubescent female resembling Madeline who would have been 8 years and 4 months when this that I have redacted happened to her. Here's an image depicting Madeline approximately 11 years old. Another one where she is approximately, actually there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, 8 of them, in which she was 11 years and 5 months old and had all sorts of things happening to her. Let's not forget her. So sad. Guys, so sad. Then we get down to this last sentence that says there were hundreds of other images containing Madeline within Stephan's Google account, with most of them depicting, I'm going to call it SA. It's not exactly what it says there, but that's what it was depicting. A copy of Stephan's Google account was submitted into evidence. This guy, please, for the love of all that is holy, please, I hope this guy pleads guilty and does not take this to trial. I was, actually, yeah, Ellie Wright says, the poor people that had to watch them. Yes, that's exactly it. That is exactly it. You guys know that I was covering a murder trial here in my hometown earlier this week. In that murder trial, which was the murder of a 76-year-old woman that also was abused in similar ways of Madeline here during the perpetration of the crime that led to her death. They showed the jury, the court, several photos, and they had to do that, right? It was appropriate and proper for them to do that in court. But seated 3 rows behind the victim's widower and children, I had to think about how now they can never unsee those images of their wife, their mother, their grandmother. They can never unsee those. I can never unsee them. The jury can never unsee them. In a case like this, I don't know what they do, because there are so many graphic photos. I just don't know. I don't know what they do. It's. I hope that. I hope that he just pleads guilty, and we can move on. Okay, just to see if anybody has said any comments that they specifically want me to read. Nobody has done that. Let me just look at a couple things. Eighth House Moon Rabbit says she has a very distinctive face. I don't think she'll ever be allowed to live in peace if the trial is broadcast and gets many eyes. I don't know what you were I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Sandy says, I suspect Jennifer hasn't been charged because she is a cooperating witness, which law enforcement needs to ensure Stephan gets either life without parole or the death penalty, which they have in Florida. So, guys, I'm going to keep this one brief because it's just so disturbing to me. We could go on and on reading comments and looking at other documents and listening to his interview. I honestly don't feel up to it. I don't feel up to it. The trauma that Madeline Soto had to go through, starting at least from age 8, is so just beyond the pale to me. I just want that guy to plead guilty and go away, and we never have to think about him ever again. I personally believe that Jennifer was complicit. It's possible that what you guys are saying happened. She's a cooperating witness. It's possible also that she's smart and not saying anything. But yeah, I feel so much rage right now. Actually, I feel just rage. Trying to stay calm. Pauline says, "I like the nice, steady, calm way you explain things, Gavin." Trying to stay calm, but I'm really, really angry at him, and I'm very, very sorry for her. And yeah, 8,000 Moon Rabbit says, I'm split because children need more protection and the public would have to step in when their adults will not. Many aren't aware. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about that a couple of videos ago, right? I'm all for homeschool and I'm all for parents having that right. And there is a line that we don't want authorities to cross. But how many children are out there receiving the same treatment that MADELINE Soto received? And we've got to be able to have society be able to step in on those. It's it's shocking to the conscience. I hope, well, for, you know what, here's a case from Sandy. I hate to say this, but possibly this is the case that needs to go to trial and have that trial shown on every network. People need to be shocked to realize monsters like him are after their children. Yeah, so I guess I do agree with you on that. I'm sitting on the fence here because I want him to just go away, plead guilty and go away. But for so many reasons, it would be great to publicly shame him. If, you know, he's innocent until proven guilty, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I don't want a poor jury to have to look at that kind of evidence. I just don't. Jennifer Latham says, Gavin, we haven't heard anything from or about mom since discovery of MADELINE. Do you think she's helping law enforcement? Any chance she's charged? Surely she had to know. It's possible. Maybe there are no charges because she's helping. Maybe there are no charges because she's smart and is lawyered up and they can't find evidence and she hasn't confessed. There's a lot of reasons. I don't know that law enforcement needs much of her help at this point. 1,700 images and videos. 1,700 of them. And yes, surely she had to know. Jess says, I cannot believe her mom didn't know. No, her mom, in my opinion, not only did she know, she was active in giving her child to that monster. Oh, I'm feeling anxious. I want you two to go into the other bedroom. No, she was part of it. I think, for sure. Guys, so I think that's where we're going to leave it because I am just upset, really is what it boils down to. So thank you very much for joining me today. Autumn. Thank you very much for that super chat. I deeply appreciate that. That goes a long way to helping me be a full-time YouTuber, which is my dream and my goal. And the channel has been growing a lot lately. If you are new to my channel, one of the best resources that I have is my website. Just head on over to the website and look around. There are a lot of cases that I've covered, lots of videos that I have put there, not only in MADELINE's case, but in other cases as well. It's also a place where you can get to the fish tank, which is a little group of us that discuss true crime over on Facebook. We're 866 members strong now, which is kind of fun. But thank you all for joining me. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, supporting me through your membership, supporting me through your patronage. I deeply appreciate it. And I guess that's all. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.